Beneath the sands of Egypt, hidden for centuries, lies a secret so vast, it was said to dwarf the Great Pyramids themselves. An entire building, a maze of 3,000 rooms, simply vanished from history. But what if it wasn't a legend? What if this place was real? And what if we are now, finally, on the verge of finding it? To understand this mystery, we have to go back 2,500 years. Picture a world where the pyramids were already ancient. A Greek historian named Herodotus traveled to this land. He walked these sands, a tourist in a world of pharaohs and gods. He saw the pyramids, of course. He stood in their shadow, amazed. But then the Egyptian priests showed him something else. Something that, in his own words, made the pyramids seem ordinary. He called it the Labyrinth. Imagine a building so complex, it was a maze. 2 stories tall, 12 immense gates facing each other. Inside, a winding chaos of 3,000 rooms. 1,500 on the upper level, 1,500 below. The walls were covered in intricate carvings. It was a palace, a temple, and a tomb, all woven into one impossible structure. This was the genius of Egyptian architecture. This was the true wonder. For centuries, the Labyrinth was the most famous building in the world after the pyramids. Countless writers described its splendors. Its legend was solid, real, and then it was gone. The stories faded. The maps that showed its location were lost. The mighty Labyrinth simply vanished from the face of the earth. It became a myth, a ghost story told by archaeologists. Maybe Herodotus exaggerated, maybe he made it up. The official story was simple. The Great Labyrinth of Egypt never existed. It was just a tale. But for those who looked closer, there was a problem. The descriptions were too consistent, too detailed, and the place where it was supposed to be was just an empty, sandy plateau. A silence where there should have been a legend. The year was 2008. A team of scientists arrived at that same empty plateau. They weren't there to dig. They were there to listen. Using a powerful georadar, they could see through the sand down into the earth without moving a single stone. They swept the device back and forth, listening to the echoes from below. And then they saw it, something the human eye had not seen for millennia. It wasn't a few scattered ruins. It was a foundation, a massive stone plateau, 1,000 feet wide, the size of a city center. And on that radar screen, they could see the ghostly outlines of walls. Not random walls, but a complex, interconnected network. Rooms, passages. It was the footprint of a colossal structure, the exact footprint of the lost labyrinth. In that moment, a 2,500-year-old legend stopped being a story. It became a secret buried just beneath our feet. So the big discovery was made. A massive, man-made structure is under the sand. The mystery is solved, right? Not even close. This is where the story gets strange. If this is the greatest archaeological find of the century, why hasn't it been excavated? The answer seems simple at first. It's a sensitive site. It's under a water table. It's too expensive. These sound like reasonable explanations, don't they? But then you have to ask, why would you leave a discovery of this magnitude in the dark? A building that put the pyramids to shame? In archaeology, a find like this is the ultimate prize. You would move heaven and earth to dig it up, unless there was a reason you couldn't. So if the simple answers don't work, we have to look at the strange ones. We have to ask, what if the labyrinth was more than just a building? What secrets did it really hold? Theory 1, a secret library. What if the labyrinth wasn't just a tomb, but a library? A hall of records from a lost civilization, containing knowledge we can't even imagine. Knowledge that someone, even today, might not be ready for us to find. Theory 2, the guardian. The ancient texts say the lower level was a tomb for sacred crocodiles and the pharaohs. What if it was also a prison? A seal holding something back? And what if that seal should never be broken? The wildest theory of all, that they have excavated it. And what they found down there in those 3,000 rooms was so confusing, so terrifying, or so revolutionary that they decided to rebury it with silence. And so, today, the desert looks peaceful. The wind blows across the Giza plateau, just as it did when Herodotus stood here. Tourists walk over the sand, completely unaware of the silent, stone city sleeping just a few meters beneath their feet. The houses are gone. The voices are silent. But the question remains as loud as ever. What happened to the lost labyrinth of Egypt? Was it destroyed? Was it buried by time? Or was it hidden on purpose? The evidence is there, waiting in the dark. The walls, the runes, the passages all frozen in time. The greatest archaeological wonder may have already been found, but the true mystery has only just begun.